It is racist. It is a clear threat to people. And just like I denounce whoever's trying to assassinate Donald Trump for whatever reasons, they should denounce the fact that they are inciting nuts to feel that they can go into Springfield and save pets. That's those kinds of jaded thinking is what leads to killings.
You're going to love this video because we get to see the mainstream media get called out and fact-checked by none other than the governor of Ohio. He comes forward to set the record straight, clarifying the real source of the bomb threats and exposing just how lazy and sloppy the reporting from outlets like CNN's Dana Bash and the Trump-obsessed hosts at MSNBC has become. This is a perfect example of how the media twists the narrative, and the governor wasn't having any of it. But before we dive into what the governor had to say, let's first take a look at the misleading claims made by MSNBC. If you enjoy content like this, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to tap the notification bell so you'll be the first to know when we post our next video.
And when you look at the fact that he is now admitting they made up a story, as you say, quoting him, that the media wouldn't cover. Maybe the media didn't cover it because there was no story. It didn't exist. But again, this is consistent with Trump's campaign. Let's not forget Donald Trump as president called Haiti and several African countries S-hole countries. You also have to put into the factor in that if you are someone that is anti-Haitians in Springfield or coming in to think you're defending the people of Springfield whose pets are being eaten up, any black walking around Springfield looks Haitian. I mean, it is racist. It is a clear threat to people. And just like I denounce whoever's trying to assassinate Donald Trump for whatever reasons, they should denounce the fact that they are inciting nuts to feel that they can go into Springfield and save pets. That's those kinds of jaded thinking is what leads to killings. I did the funerals in Buffalo, New York, of a mass killer that felt he had the right to target blacks. I've been to others and did eulogies. This is dangerous. This is a threat to people. And at the same time we denounce what apparently has happened as a threat to Donald Trump, we should denounce what is apparently a threat to blacks and particularly Haitians in Springfield.
Let's break down the nonsense that was just spewed. It's obvious the media got their talking points and are now trying to conflate two completely separate issues: Trump's assassination attempt and the situation in Springfield, Ohio. The fact that they even mention them in the same breath is laughable at best. Now, let's focus on the Springfield situation and the comments about Haitian immigrants. To suggest that all black people look Haitian is beyond ridiculous. Most people, especially black people, can distinguish between a black American, a Nigerian, a South African, or a Bajan. We're not blind. It's like saying that all Latinos look Mexican, which is equally absurd. So that statement was not only foolish, but completely out of touch. And then they somehow equate Trump being labeled as a threat to democracy to his comment about migrants eating pets. When the media repeatedly calls Trump a threat, that's much more likely to incite violence. The word threat inherently suggests violence. But when Trump claims that illegal migrants he saw on TV are eating people's pets, he's simply repeating what he saw on social media. The same goes for J.D. Vance reporting what his constituents told him about ducks being stolen. How is that inciting violence? It's a stretch. And their argument just falls apart when you look at it critically. Now let's revisit the interview with CNN's Dana Bash, where she made baseless accusations toward J.D. Vance, which have been completely debunked. Let's dive into that.
So the mayor of Springfield, Ohio, Rob Rue, said, quote, "All these federal politicians that have negatively spun our city, they need to know they're hurting our city, and it was their words that did it." Before Donald Trump talked about eating dogs and cats on a debate stage, it was you, Senator, who first elevated this baseless rumor. These are your constituents. So why are you putting them at risk by continuing to spread claims about Haitian immigrants, despite officials in your state saying that there's no evidence and pleading for you to stop.
All right, so that was the question. The first part of it quoted the mayor, who claimed that all federal politicians, not just J.D. Vance, were making things worse in Springfield, Ohio with their statements. The second part accused J.D. Vance of elevating a baseless claim and causing issues for the community by spreading rumors. But what people seem to forget, because in a 24-hour media cycle, especially on social media, things move fast, is that just a week before the debate, local residents were speaking out at a city council meeting. They were voicing concerns about migrants allegedly eating pets, abducting geese and ducks, and draining local resources. That story went viral, and then the debate with Trump overshadowed it. So, to label it a baseless rumor is essentially dismissing the real concerns of the citizens of Springfield, Ohio. I'd rather believe the people who live there and are directly experiencing these issues than someone like Dana Bash, who hasn't even set foot in the town.
You're not just a bystander, you're the senator from Ohio. So instead of saying things that are wrong and actually causing the hospitals, the schools, the government buildings to be evacuated because of bomb threats, because of the cats and dogs thing, why not actually be constructive in helping to better integrate them into the community? Because there are a lot of employers there who say that the Haitian workers are helping fill jobs that they need desperately filled.
You just heard her accuse him of causing the bomb threats and evacuations based on what he's been saying. This is where she messed up. It's exactly what we discussed in the previous video. J.D. Vance, in an alternate reality, could have ended her career right there because of how lazy and sloppy her questioning was. Criticizing him for talking about Haitian migrants eating pets is one thing, but to go so far as to accuse him of inciting violence to the point of bomb threats without any investigation proving that his statements were the cause, that's just lazy journalism. She should be ashamed of herself. And honestly, she owes him an apology. For you to fully understand why Dana Bash needs to walk back her accusations, take a listen to what the governor of Ohio had to say.
We have received at least 33 separate bomb threats, each one of which has been responded to, and each one of whom has been found as a hoax. So 33 threats, 33 hoax. I want to make that very, very clear. None of these had any validity at all. We know that people are very, very concerned, and we have taken some actions, and in a moment I'll let Andy Wilson go into more detail. But we've moved resources into Springfield. People have the right to feel safe as well as being safe. We've taken action in regard to cameras. We have taken action into putting a large number of members of the Highway Patrol here. So I want to say to the parents in Springfield, these hoaxes, these threats have all been hoaxes. None of them have panned out. We have people, unfortunately, overseas who are taking these actions. Some of them are coming from one particular country. We think that this is, one more opportunity to mess with the United States, and they're continuing to do that. So we cannot let the bad guys win.
Listen closely to what the governor said. He pointed out that many of these threats are being traced back to overseas sources, specifically one particular country. Now, which country could that be? It's likely either Russia or Iran. Given the current context, especially with the federal government and Joe Biden's administration, stating that Russia is attempting to meddle in our elections, it's reasonable to assume it's Russia in this case. Let's apply some common sense here, which, for some reason, seems to be in short supply nowadays. How does it make sense that someone would call in a bomb threat 33 times simply because Trump said illegal migrants are eating pets? It doesn't. It fails the common sense test. Yet the media tries to connect the dots in the most ridiculous way possible just to undermine Trump. The governor clarified that these threats are coming from overseas. He didn't explicitly say Russia, but that's what he implied. Regardless of the exact country, the point is clear. These threats aren't coming from Trump, J.D. Vance, or even regular Americans. They're from overseas. So why isn't CNN, Dana Bash, MSNBC, and the rest of the mainstream media focusing on what the governor just said? Why are they stuck on the pet story? They have a choice about what to cover, and the honorable thing to do would be to investigate the real source of these threats. But, of course, honor seems to be missing from much of today's media landscape. What frustrates Americans is the double standard. The media doesn't hold Kamala Harris or Joe Biden to the same level of scrutiny. If they're going to accuse Trump and J.D. Vance of inciting violence that leads to bomb threats at a hospital and university in Springfield, shouldn't the same be applied to the rhetoric from Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Nancy Pelosi, and others who have labeled Trump a threat to democracy, suggesting he must be stopped or eliminated? It would only be fair to apply the same standard, but of course we know they won't. They won't hold their own side accountable because the media has become an extension of the Democratic Party.
Well, what is the implication, Dana? I actually love to have this conversation right now live on air.
Right.
What is the implication when you say you calling out these problems has caused a bomb threat? You accused me of causing a bomb threat. Doesn't that mean you should shut up about the residents of Springfield? Don't you realize you're engaged in basic propaganda to silence the concerns of American citizens?
I was quoting the actual mayor of Springfield, Ohio, begging after the bomb threats, begging federal officials, to please stop putting negative attention on his city. And I'm not talking about the policies. I'm not talking about the very real challenges that Springfield has. I'm talking about baseless rumors about Haitians eating dogs and cats. And that, after that was said on a debate stage, that is when these bomb threats started. And that is a fact.
That's the reality. Yes, the threats began after the debate, but what isn't true is that they were caused by what Trump said. It's laughable that Dana Bash tried to backtrack and claim she didn't accuse him when we already played the clip proving otherwise. We're living in a time when the media doesn't seem to care about telling the truth anymore. In fact, truth seems to be secondary to how people feel. If we don't start applying common sense, we're headed for serious trouble. What are your thoughts on the Ohio governor coming out and fact-checking CNN, Dana Bash, and the rest of the mainstream media for trying to falsely connect the bomb threats to Trump's comments? It's absurd that they're trying to equate this with an actual assassination attempt on Trump, while ignoring the fact that their own rhetoric has contributed to the rise in political violence. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on future content.